expect as I headed towards Dyersville. The only information I found just seems to be a note saying help was needed at the local hospital. I didn't know if this was a trap or if this was legit. I just knew Ogden had gone there and I had to follow. As I drove down the back roads, I contemplated what was really going on. Was this a trap or was it genuine? Had Ogden really bugged out in order to help somebody? Things just weren't adding up. When I went through his cabin, some things seemed to lead that he had a plan, an idea for a cure maybe. I don't know. He was on to something and he was tracing it back himself. But why would he bug out all of a sudden? He left to go to the ranger shack, stayed there for a while apparently. But what I found there didn't make any sense at all. It's like he just left. Food was still sitting around. It's like his last meal. He ate a bite or two and was gone. I think somebody took him. I'm starting to wonder. As I headed toward Dyersville, I noticed I started running into more houses. A couple of farms, things like that. Never understood, but I still didn't see anybody living. I hadn't ran into a single soul other than Jen. It started to make me wonder what was really going on around here. One thing for sure though, I kept running into the undead. No matter where I went, they kept becoming more and more. The sun was beginning to set. I knew I needed to find a place to shelter for the night. I wasn't too keen on just camping out in the woods like I thought I could. This place was devastating. I started looking to see if there was an abandoned house or maybe someplace I could stay. I'd even get on the roof if I have to. I continued looking around. I didn't see too much in sight. Just the undead. Occasional animal here and there. The bears seemed to thin out, so did the mountain lions. I hadn't seen any wolves that I heard so vicious about. I didn't like the looks of many of the houses I kept passing. Too clustered together and far too many zombies. Everywhere I looked, I kept running them over, literally. I didn't know what else I could do. I wanted to find something just by itself, maybe quiet, something I could get there, lock it up, maybe be safe for the night even. I did find a river could provide water source at least. I'd have to get some more. I was running low. The house I did find at first, I thought maybe it'd work. I didn't know what to expect. I began to think I bit off more than I could chew. As I pulled up, there was already a zombie there to greet me. It was kind of nice. Maybe their former realtor, former house owner, I don't know. After being greeted at the front door like I was, you thought I would have taken the message. Sometimes you just don't remember things clearly. I don't know. All I know is already having a zombie running around during the daytime, outside of a house that I was thinking about trying to crash at. Not to mention that it'd been condemned. Yeah, real smart decisions. I decided to go inside and see what I could find out. See if there was at least something secure about the place. I don't know, I got a bad feeling when I walked in. There's a lot of noise, a lot of creaks. Seemed like it was already alive. Searching around, I didn't find much. Then I found out I had a visitor come through the back wall. I don't think this place would have been very secure to begin with. It looked horrible. I remember that house had whole blown out sides. Part of the roof was missing. Plenty of zombies there to greet you too. These things, they weigh heavily on my mind. Sometimes you think back, all the near death, all those faint moments. It's amazing I made it out alive back then. I'd had enough. This wasn't going to be a place I was going to stay. I knew that home was worthless. I remember leaving, deciding to walk around, and it seemed like another one was coming for me. Yeah, that would have been a death trap, I think. I'm glad I decided not to that day. Made things a little bit easier, maybe. I don't know. Future couldn't have been easier to tell back then. But looking back, hindsight's always 20/20. Once I cleared everything out, I decided it was time to move on. It was getting darker, quick. I knew that if I didn't find a place to stay, it was all going to be over. I needed to find some place to secure that would shelter me for the night. I remember getting back in my Jeep, taking off back down the road, hoping I'd find something. Even back then, I would still remain cool and calm, but I got nervous that night. With the sun setting on you in a place that you don't know, undead walking all around, it was kind of scary. Any sane man would admit it. I remember topping the hill and seeing a gas station or something off in the distance maybe. One last hope. I kept pushing forward, hoping I'd find something soon. I almost was tempted to stay on top of a bridge. God knows there was enough of them around. Looking back on those days, traveling to Dyersville, that was my first experience in Nav's game. I was only a couple of days in. What I learned back then really helped out in the future at least. Some places I found I'd go back to because I knew they'd be secure enough for me. I finally found a place, a gardening store. I parked my Jeep around back because I didn't want to approach Dyersville during the daylight. I wanted to recon it. Something just wasn't feeling right about it. I was already on edge. Only being in Navsky in a couple of days, I didn't know what to expect. Everybody kept telling me how bad things were there. I just chose not to believe them. I'd already had a close call at the ranger station, and now, what I was about to get into, it was almost the end of my road. Hard lessons learned early in life. I'd only been around a couple of zombies since I've been in Nav's game. I hadn't seen too many. Not clumped together as one, just scattered. I'd heard rumors about hordes of them wandering the woods and cities. Kick up a large cloud of dust. Turn the sky red almost with the radiation in the background. It's a horrible thing to see. I also heard tales of how they'd swarm you when they found out. I tried to be quiet. I know when I came to Nav's game I was prepared. I made sure and brought silenced weapons. Anything that could be quiet, anything could be a stealth kill. But this place, these zombies, once they start swarming you, there's no stop. Everything just starts getting panicked. The fear is real. Life or death situations, jam gun, and you're by yourself in a strange place. You never know what's going to happen. Anything least expected could fall out of the sky. I'd only been worried about zombies. I didn't know what my future held. I didn't realize it was the last of the human survivors that were the worst. The raiders. That's not happened yet. We haven't gotten to that part. As I tried to clear out the place to make sure there was no threats or anything else trying to get me, things felt uncomfortable. Little did I know the noise that I was making was stirring up some other trouble around town. It seemed like the other zombies started coming in. More and more kept swarming me. I knew I had enough ammo, but I didn't want to waste it because I didn't know when the next time I'd be able to find some. Things were getting hairy and getting hairy quick. I remember looking for an alternative. They just kept coming. I decided to fight off the last of the ones coming after me. Then I figured I'd try to make it to the roof. It's the only place I could go for sanctuary and freedom. Although zombies were hungry, climbing a ladder wasn't their best priority. Sometimes you could be safe, use natural defenses. I thought the natural defenses of the walls would have kept them out. However, that didn't seem to be the case. I thought this place was going to be safe. I hadn't been on the roof yet. I remember, if I could only get to the roof, maybe things would have been easier to maintain. I scurried to the roof, thinking things would be safer. I didn't know undead vultures were becoming a thing now. It was my first time running into those bastards. I learned to hate those things. Flying rat carcasses in the air, hungry for human flesh. I cleared the roof off, compared around to see if there's anything else to worry about. I didn't know what else to do at that point. I wanted to make sure I was going to be able to be safe. I was concerned that the people at Dyersville, if there was anybody there, would see me. I wanted to be quiet, coming stealthily. I didn't know what to expect, but I really did think there was a trap involved. Little did I know what was going to happen. That was the lowest point back then. I recovered from it, become who I am now. But that moment in time, that's my only time I fear the most and hate. The roof had a benefit, a good vantage point on the town. I could see the comings and goings, see if they had any traffic. Because like I said, I'd yet to really see anybody yet, except for the damn zombies. And now the vultures. Bastards. I didn't hear a peep out of that town, which concerned me. Only thing I had throughout the night was little visitors popping up to beat on my wall. The wall that kept them out, right? Walls are worthless. I spent most of the night trying to go back through everything I'd found so far. Maybe I could piece together some sort of clue or idea what was going on. Based on what I'd found so far in Nav's game, there wasn't anybody around. At least if they were, they weren't coming out. Fear of something. Speaking to the local traders, there were people about, but where were they hiding? I had yet to find a single person or individual. I was in one of the largest towns in Navsgame County. I didn't see any traffic in or out. Either people were fearful, I'm not sure. What I do know is where I come from, we'd gotten rid of a lot of the zombies. They're more of a carnival sight. Now, here, Navsgame County, I don't know what the hell's going on, why there's still so many zombies, and where all the people went. I took the rest of the night, take stock in my inventory, check my rations and my ammo. I had plenty for now. I had even more down in the Jeep. I was concerned about my Jeep though. Had anybody be able to get into it and find my secret stash, we'd be out of luck. After a while, I got my night vision out to see what I could see down at the town. There was nobody guarding the gates. They had blocked off the main entrance. But where were the people? Who blocked it off? Something definitely was going on. I didn't know what, but I was going to get to the bottom of it and find Ogden. He was the key to everything, apparently. It was becoming more clear somebody else was after him too, but for a bad reason. I'm not going to say I slept peaceful that night, but at least I slept comfortably. That next morning, I took off early. I wanted to go find out what exactly was going on in Dyersville. My curiosity had been piqued. I slept soundly that night, but I didn't hear anything, except for zombies occasionally. None of them were able to get up. That was a good thing. The fence actually did work, and the wall did it too. Like I said, natural defenses. I headed into Dyersville. Crossing the bridge, I was concerned. I'd already checked it out that night looking for mines. There was nothing there. No traps, no nothing. Just a shitty-ass road. I can see why nobody took this entrance now. Maybe they're going through another way. I don't know. It's a big town. I remember approaching. I didn't hear anything. There was no cars, no people, no dogs, no animals, no nothing. Just the dead. Something was going on, and I was going to get to the bottom of it. I approached the hospital. Nobody was outside, no vehicles, nothing. Something didn't add up. I remember getting out of my Jeep. A younger me, naive, foolish, making bad life choices. An older me would have been more cautious and staked it out better. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know where it was going. I knew I was going to go find Ogden. I wasn't thinking ahead, just to find Ogden. And then I heard that sound. The sound of death in the air as it whistled towards me. Last thing I remember was coming to with some guy standing over my head, taking my shit. I don't know who he was, but apparently he knew who I was, and he'd heard the rumors.